Alright everyone, today on the bullshit of the legacy media that's not really newsworthy, but it's pretended that it is, and I can't possibly fathom why. Barbara Bush, in her, I think she died, right? So it's posthumously released new book, saying that like she left the Republican Party because Trump won, saying that after that she started having heart problems, like Trump killed me, oh my god, he gave me a heart attack. And I'm thinking to myself, what kind of bizarre fucking tabloid sputum is it that something like this can possibly be reported on as though it is number one newsworthy? Okay, the former First Lady, really old woman, so it's like heart problems, oh my god, and that never happens to someone who's totally geriatric. Making a weird partisan claim that makes no sense outside of the context of a bunch of propaganda anyway. The idea that Trump causes people to have personal problems of that type, maybe they should just calm down then. Maybe if someone's having heart palpitations because my evil Trump is going to destroy my beautiful Republican Party, the party of the Iraq War, the party of standing against rights for gay people, the party of women in the kitchen and stuff. Oh my god, he's going to destroy all that wonderful progress. The fake fiscal conservatism where we lower your taxes by 0.2% while giving a bunch of money to predator multinationals. Wow, it's going to destroy capitalism if we do populism like he wants. The party that rambles all day about how much it loves guns and wines and dines the NRA and then does nothing to reverse the NFA or any of this other bullshit legislation from yesteryear. You mean that Republican Party? Dead Mrs. Bush? And here's thinking, she's the most stable Bush. Barbara Bush was always the one that made the most sense, and I guess posthumously she just decided to blow a gasket. Meanwhile, you got miscreants like Jeb and W and you know, Herbert Walker and basically all the male Bushes. Other than that one that I think briefly worked for, was Alan Bush or something? I think worked for the Trump campaign briefly or something. I think. Other than that, like, they're total lunatics. It's totally nonsensical that anyone took the Bushes seriously after Herbert Walker anyway. The fact that W even became president was largely prefaced on the fact that Al Gore had the personality of a wet dish rag. Don't get me started about their political chops. So, hey, we got two Bush presidents, so we must be good people. Yes, and you're not going to have a third Bush presidency. There's a reason for that. There's a reason why Jeb Bush came in third in South Carolina, still stuck it out till after Super Tuesday for no apparent reason, just to waste his donors' money, I guess. He's like, well, I could embezzle this, but, you know, I'm just going to spend it on shitty, self-aggrandizing ads for no reason. I'm just going to be a stitch in the craw of the Republican Party. I'm going to keep myself in there so that people know that Bush and Republican are still synonymous. Barbara Bush. Who fucking cares what she writes? Oh my goodness, Trump caused my heart attack. Trump didn't cause your heart attack. No, your heart attack was caused by the fact that you were in your 80s at the time. That's why you had a heart attack. I never would have guessed. I thought that people were in their 80s and they were like in perfect health and shit and never had any problems. Stroke? No, Trump caused that one. I got so angry, you caused my stroke. That's like abusive logic. It's like, oh my god, yeah, I hit you, but you made me so angry, I just couldn't keep my fist from flying, or something like that. And that's really the way the Bushes are. They're a bunch of abusive authoritarians. And just to think that Barbara Bush has been the sane one, the one that usually didn't say stupid shit, and now attacking Trump, saying that she left the Republican Party because of, okay, you left the Republican Party because someone was elected who largely ran a grassroots campaign, persevered against literally all odds to the point where they thought that his campaign was totally dead months before the voting happened. That nobody expected to win, other than a few prognosticators. Even most of Trump's fans, I have a feeling, went into that night, unless they were paying attention to my content or a very small number of other fucking YouTubers or off-hook analysts, they probably went into the night figuring that Trump would lose. They probably said, well, I support him, I hope he wins, there's a chance in hell maybe, but ultimately Hillary Clinton's probably got in the bag. That's what most people thought. He pulls it off. He pretty much saves the Republican Party from itself by abandoning some of the shittiest principles that they've decided to die on as hills. Look, the Republican Party's big issue 10 years ago was gay rights bad. Guns are good, but we're not going to actually do anything to proliferate them at all. We're going to lower taxes. Too bad it's going to be primarily for multinational corporations. That was the Republican Party of the Bush administration. That was and war, of course. War, always very, very popular to go and bomb people for no reason. These same people now are breathing down Trump's neck for continuing a drone program started by Bush and massively expanded by Obama. I'll breathe down his neck too, but that doesn't mean that I want the Bushes to take over the GOP. If the Bushes were running the GOP, you can be damn sure I wouldn't vote for any Republicans. Never. Not in a million years. If Jeb Bush had won, let's say that he had been nominated, somehow beat Hillary Clinton, despite the fact that, that would be really, really difficult for him to do. He can barely string two words together without making some stuff. You think that Joe Biden's not exactly a wordsmith, listen to a Jeb Bush speech. His personality is arguably even worse. He's like the worst elements of his brother and maybe Taft. Sort of bumbling and miscreant who can't draw a crowd. Remember that one time when he gave his speech there to like a room of 30 people and then had to say please clap and sort of shrugged and acted very sad about it? Or the time that he put the hoodie on there and started talking about liking ceramic turtles or some stupid shit like that. Oh, I keep this in my pocket. Is it a bulletproof turtle, Jeb? I bet it is. No, if he had won, if he had become president, it'd be like, be back to the dark ages, I suppose. Then people really would get nostalgic for Obama. You think that things are bad right now because Trump has had a few foibles. Largely, he's doing all right. Now that the Mueller probe's gone, he's going to soar up in popularity a few points. Yes, he'll be absolutely re-electable within another couple weeks of polling. You watch what happens to the polling aggregate. And some of that will lose steam over time, but ultimately that was the biggest thing holding him down. And the economy is going well, jobs are coming back, those markers are still doing well, foreign policy is at least decent, and you've got the tax cut and now a renewed push to eliminate the ACA. I think he'll wait until after the election to fully, weaponize maybe the Department of Justice against it, but ultimately I think that it'll go through. He's fulfilling his promises. Didn't he just didn't the Pentagon just successfully direct some funding on its own power to retrofitting border wall stuff? I think they did. It's not an impressive amount of it, but every little bit helps. It's one less vulnerability, I suppose. I think it's like 50 miles of it or something like that. Yeah, I absolutely think that Trump's doing a fine job. And for Barbara Bush to say, oh my goodness, my heart attack was because of evil Drumpfler. Bullshit. I wonder, did somebody else write that after she died? Like, did Jeb write that actually? Who knows? That's about all. Peace out.